Hello gamers, hello, welcome back to the Master Gamer. Today we're talking about Super Mario from the N64 era and beyond. So by the time 1996 rolled around, 3D was in demand. I mean, this was for video games like passing what's a big 3D was a video game equivalent of cars passing 200 miles per hour. And this is one of the games that started the phenomenon full blow. Super Mario 64 for the Nintendo 64. Yeah, Nintendo. How original. Well, I'm not going to be showing any footage because I've had enough lawsuits already, and, well, lawsuits. Yeah. Now, this game revolutionized gaming. Full stuff. Full 3D. None of that. It actually looked decent for the time. Sure, it may have aged a little, but the game's still fun. Played the DS re-release, it's pretty good. There's no being the N64 original with its 120 stars to collect. And that little cake. Come on. Who doesn't like cake? We're only gonna be looking at major releases, and then came. I mean, there was a lot of releases during this time. You know, there was No Yoshi Story, which was 2D on the N64, which nobody thought was possible. And there was, well, that was actually considered a spin-off, and then, oh yeah, Mario Party, also considered the game that ruins friendships. Seriously. Put four guys in a room, put that in your N64, and they're bound to be worse enemies in less than half an hour. And then. But the N64 was crushed by the big storm cloud overhead that was PlayStation. Although Mario sold well, it couldn't save the N64 from second place, squashed in between the massively successful PlayStation and the massively unsuccessful Sega Saturn. Now, Silver's better than Bronze, they'll say that, but Sony, they took the lead for the first time. I mean, this was going far. I mean, they were going top speed out of the gate. I mean, it was crazy. It was insane, even. It was like, shoom, crushed. I mean, seriously. For so many consoles that weren't able to outsell the N64, the Sega Saturn, the Jaguar, this was the hammer that nailed their coffin shut once and for all. Now that's enough about Mario 64. Let's move on to Super Mario Sunshine Luigi's Mansion for the GameCube. This game was a little weird. And the plot was also a little weird. Mario gets stuck into a painting by King Boo in Luigi's new mansion after he wins it in the lottery, so he has to save him by sucking ghosts through his something vacuum 3000. Yeah, I forgot its name. So basically you suck up ghosts with your vacuum cleaner, and then that's how you fight people. You don't punch them, you don't stomp on them, you just suck them up. As you could expect, it was like Where's Mario? Where's Mario, guys? And like before, it was steamrolled by PlayStation. But this time it was PS2, best-selling console of all time. 157 million units compared to the GameCube's paltry 22. And then there was another player that even crushed that. I mean, no, it didn't. It crushed Nintendo, not Sony. Sony was pretty much invincible at that time. Xbox. I mean, people were growing up. Big kid. They were starting to play big kids games like Grand Theft Auto and Halo. And finally, in 2002, Super Mario Sunshine came out. This was also a weird one. The Shadow Mario pollutes the island, the real Mario's blamed for it, and he has to clean it up. Using something called the Flood. Of course, it's all orchestrated by Bowser. After you defeat him, the game ends, and you never see Isle Delfino ever again. Yeah, this was your main form of attack, except in special levels where it was taken away and you got pure platforming bliss. And then Mario returned to his roots with new Super Mario Bros. To the Nintendo DS. This game was 2D and basically emulated the previous games like Super Mario World, Super Mario 3, with a brand new coat of paint and some new power-ups. 2D bliss. It was released on the DS, the best-selling portable console in history. I mean, that thing blew up. I don't have the DS, but I have two 3DSs on my shelf here. That's the 3DS, that's the new 3DS I got a few years ago. Yeah, this was basically a revival of the classic games. It was like, It was sort of like It was sort of like a compilation album of previous works, like Garage Days by Metallica or something like that. A throwback to the past. And then Nintendo got on top again with this, the Nintendo Wii. This also both the Xbox 360 and the PS3. This sold 102 million units. The Xbox 360 and PS3 sold about 80 million each. While the two were tied up in a hand-to-hand battle in FPS. Nintendo were doing their own thing, like releasing weird games like Wii Sports Resort and stuff like that. Before it was... And then there was also a bunch of garbage released for this because, shovelware, new technology, gimmicky things like, But then, 2007, Mario finally got a game on this. And it was great. Super Mario Galaxy. One of the best games ever made, according to some ranking sites. This was unique. It was new. It was Mario with a brand new 3D planetary coat of paint. Here's the plot. Bowser steals Peach. They go away. Bowser takes over the galaxy, and Mario has to defeat him. Yeah, pretty standard stuff so far, but you're on Planetoid, and it has all this weird gravity. It's like... You're on planets, and you're like... flipping upside down, and then using gravity to get onto other planets, and using stars being like... with the Wii remote, like... Let me see. You were like this with the... Get Mario to heading to the star, you'd be like this with the Wii remote, and you'd be like, woo! And then you catch stars, and then it was like, you could shoot them, it was like, pew, 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 pew. It was pretty good. And then came Super Mario Galaxy 2, which I have in my collection. Here in this pretty nondescript DVD. Oh, that's just yeah, there it is. Super Mario Galaxy 2. This defied all expectations. This sold millions of copies and is often called one of, if not the best games ever made, like previous games, Super Mario Galaxy. And then, 2011, Nintendo announced the Wii U. And this made another small downfall for Nintendo. 2012 onwards was pretty rough. Even though they got a head start, they were still a paltry third place behind. It was trounced by the Xbox One, which I have here in my little den, which was then trounced, and then the Xbox was trounced by the PlayStation 4. But it still had some good games, it had some bad games, you know, like the newest Mario Party installment sort of decreased in quality, and then there was Super Mario 3D Land and Super Mario 3D World. There was New Super Mario Bros. Wii U edition. Basically the same thing over again. You know, there was a sequel for the 3DS, and then there was New Super Mario Land, which was for the 3DS. I think I had that as well. It's standard platforming in 3D, and then Super Mario World was basically the same thing before the Wii U. And then there was Super Mario Maker, which allowed you to create your own Mario levels. And then I'm hearing about this new Super Mario Odyssey game for the Nintendo Switch. It's like, interesting. Also, that console's interesting in general. It has, here are the specs. 2 gigs of RAM, same as the Wii U, and pretty, what's the property? Underpowered for most consoles today. But it uses cartridges. For years Nintendo's been using cartridges. In fact, the N64 was pretty much the last holdout for cartridges, the last crusade, if you will, for home consoles and cartridges. Let me just... there it is. There it is. Here's game on cartridge. Tomodachi Life. It's made with cartridges. Here, let's see. Here's something Donkey Kong Returns 3D. C cartridge. Yeah, it's gonna hold about 32 gigs of data. And it's gonna release next month. By the way, this is being recorded in February 2017, and the Switch is set for launch on March 2nd, I think it is, or is it the 3rd? Let me just tell you about this thing. There's all talk about, oh, this is gonna be Nintendo's last console, and keep their act up, it might be. And you're like, is it gonna become a software developer like Sega did after the Dreamcast or whatever? But that's just speculation, and I'm running out of time, so sayonara. Have a good time. To not Nexus Metroid.